And now, The Bonfire with Big J. Okerson.
Shows this week, sitting in the Robert Kelly chair, everybody, is America's amigo, Poncho Mike, the hilarious Mike Fenoya.
It's a nice warm chair, too. Bobby put some nice butt grooves in this chair.
He does. He keeps it in the right spot.
Our cracks are very perpendicular.
Yeah. You guys have similar ass. You guys got nice boot. When we came in the studio today, we were given our rundown sheet, so we have some, cheat sheet here. Like, if things start, we're losing or the topic's ending, what else can we talk about here?
Right.
Jay on Kill Tony is on there, which I saw right away, and I go, oh, yeah. Jim McClure came to me last week and said, like, they were hoping and they wished that SiriusXM could have done something with Kill Tony.
Right.
And that, the fact that I did it, I was on it, and I was there. Like, I should talk about it more, like, hype it up on the thing, which I'm absolutely happy to do. It hasn't come up organically just yet.
Yep.
And then when we came in today, when we look at the sheet, Jacob goes, Jay, I think you should really talk about Kill Tony. You didn't really talk about Kill Tony very much when you did it. And I was like, yeah? I go, is that what you're thinking? You think that's a good idea? And Jacob said, yeah, absolutely. I go, And that's just like no one said that we should probably talk about that to you or nothing. It's just your thing completely. And he was like, no. I go, And then I said the Jim McClure thing, and everybody in the room's a little skeptical now.
No,
it
only says that I think like a VP, like a VP,
like an exec.
Yeah.
You have C-level. You have C-level
big
thoughts.
Jim, but like medium Jim. In the word.
Is there a way? Jim won't come on the air, right?
Jim is caps lock. You're capital J.
Christine, could you text Jim and ask Jim if he had spoken to Jacob at all about the idea that we should probably talk more about Kill Tony on the air?
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, please.
Jacob, I have a text message as well from you.
I texted him.
And he said,
bring up Kill Tony? Shut up. That's not real.
I promise. You want to read it?
You texted Fenoya?
He's the guest host.
I know.
I text Bobby. I text.
He
when
said-
No. I'm not saying it's crazy you texted Fenoya, but you texted Fenoya about talking about Kill Tony?
Can I tell you how excited I was to
This
get
was
a text?
This is definitely from Jim McClure. It's coming down.
When I got a
Never-
text from Jacob,
did not
I was
talk
like,
to me.
Oh, I'm so happy Jacob texted me. I thought he was going to be like, so stoked to have you. Like, I've always wanted to be friends with
But
Jacob.
isn't that
Hey,
me
Mike.
treating you like one of us?
I guess, yeah. Of course, but I guess also you're to be like, hey, this is probably what you should talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about the Juggalos weekend, but also Jay never talked about being on Kill Tony at MSG. If there's an opportunity, might want to lead into that. Good topic.
This reeks of Big Jim.
And I said, I'm talking about the election, the border, the interest rate, defunding the police, and abortion. And he wrote, good talking points.
Hashtag Blue Lives Matter.
Hashtag Jay is woke.
Hashtag Black and Blue Lives Matter. Hashtag trans pro-Palestine matter.
Yeah, hashtag
Black matters of Palestine Jews.
Hashtag build back my border.
So damn awake.
Build
and
the
I'm
wall,
here for it.
then take the wall down,
Yeah,
and then
make
build
the wall-
some of it again.
Hashtag make the wall fun again.
Yo, make the wall rule.
Make the wall rule. Would it be cool if like a graffiti wall would be more fun, you know?
Like a mural? Nah, it looks tacky. Here's what I say. I say the wall itself has climbing, like, little things on it. And, dude, if you could, like, make it difficult. Crazy high. We're falling from the wall. If you get to the tippy top of the wall, and that's where you just, you can't find another.
Yeah.
And it gets more difficult the higher you get. But if you get over the wall, immediately you're handed your papers.
That's it. Remember, I tried the premise I ran by you, American Gladiator border wall,
Yeah.
where in the entire American border is just American Gladiator
Yeah, you're
challenges.
being shot at by fucking
Tennis
tennis
ball
balls. What do we say? He goes, oh, Pedro taken down by Zap, a crack shot with a tennis ball gun.
You have to joust ice in order to make it.
Oh, the human cannonball fired him right back into the Mexican side. Sorry about that, Guadalupe.
How come your grandfather...
It looks like Laser takes down another possible immigrant.
Tell me the story of your grandfather making it to America. Well, he dunked more footballs into a barrel than Zap.
Yeah, he goes, Gemini and Nitro almost had him before he broke through and finally got to the fake goalpost. And then he dunked the football into the circle thing.
The circle thing.
He goes, and then, but for children, they have to do double dare-like things.
You gotta pick a
They're
giant nose.
They're just covered in gack and holding a bunch of flags. I just had to go through a mouth with puke and then a snotty nose.
They ask you
And then a
American
large
history.
intestines maze that had a bunch of crap and Gukini.
I really hope it was worth it.
Yeah, this country is my dream. He was all worth it. Hi, I'm Mark Summers. This is Double Dare Children's Crossing the Border Edition.
Family Double Dare Border Edition.
Family Double Dare Border Edition.
Tonight the Lopez's are playing the Gonzalez's. We're gonna let one in. We'll find out who.
Oh, dude, what if to the top of the wall, and let's make the wall 100 feet. Make it crazy.
Yeah.
Make the wall 100
How
feet.
bad do you want to get in?
But those ropes they had this at the Juggalos, why I remember this. That at Great Adventure and Six Flags, like if you can climb the rope ladder that goes like across,
Yeah.
like you can do it, and just watch people constantly spinning and flipping out and falling off. Like, oh.
And then they got to walk back to their country.
You can just try right again, but it's very hard. Only if you work at a Mexican carnival, maybe you figured out the secret, because the guy who runs it can always
Dude,
do
that
it.
could solve so many issues, because you know how many people would buy tickets to watch American Gladiators Border Wars?
Oh my God.
Do you
that'd be
realize
great.
how much, like, dude, seriously, they could start, like, you could start gambling on it
And then young children will know. Start training
now.
to migrate over to the States. If you can compete a series of things against our most underpaid, overdeveloped athletes.
And, like, based on your score, this guy
Yeah,
really wants in America, Hunter McIntyre. The
Hunter
most
McIntyre.
American name ever.
I know, but he's going to be one of our gladiators. Like, they're climbing the other side of the wall with a rope, and at the top, they have to, like, push who
Yeah.
falls on either side.
They're like Patriot Jeff against. They're like MAGA Ron is keeping Guadalupe out. And the
Oh, this
grandmothers are like praying rosaries in the corner, like, "Oh, please get over.
He can do it.
You can do it.
I know he can do it.
And like your score, it basically is where you end up in America. Like if you have a shitty score, but you qualify, you're in like Camden.
Yeah. Camden, New Jersey. He goes, look, it's our Mexico.
Start in Baltimore.
Yeah,
work
you have
your
to
way
go to the
around.
barrio.
That's
El barrio.
so 100-foot wall.
Just takes
Yeah.
me back to my Tough Mudder days.
And in Canada, on the Canada side, we have to have more summer games. They'll dominate us in winter games.
Oh my God, they would just luge over it.
Oh, it can't be like curling for citizenship.
Curling for a cul-de-sac spot.
I don't understand their sports. They have mounted police.
They really do have dumb sports. Ice fishing.
Canada?
Go inside.
Oh, fuck off.
Remember that time when dude, when we lived in that fucking condo for a couple days in Edmonton,
Oh, yeah.
when we saw the magical mystical rabbit that
Oh,
was just
yeah.
hopping around, and then you fucking launched a fucking ball.
Still, by the way, I talk about this often. This comes up. Not a ball. Dude moment. I know many of my dude moments, and I can tell you the dude moments I've seen from somebody else pulling off, which is, by the way, that documentary we watched, Dude Perfect. That's exactly what that means that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When you throw the basketball, like, fuck it, dude, you just kick the basketball from across the court and it just goes in. You need somebody else to see it.
You have to.
And me and Mike were on the back porch of the Edmonton condo, and then it's a lawn on the other side of that, like a lawn that goes out to a 4-lane, at least, like, road.
Yeah.
And then across that road is a line of huge trees, tall trees, that you can see through a little bit. And on the other side of that is a parking lot for a Home Depot. And the Home Depot had 2 shopping carts just behind
Just
the trees.
randomly scattered.
Just behind the trees, scattered on the thing. And I was finishing smoking my last apple bong
That's right.
that
That's
I
what you
made.
threw.
I smoked out of the apple thing, and I was going to get rid of it instead of throwing it in their trash and making it smell bad. So I just look at Mike and I go, shopping cart, the other side of the trees. Across the lawn, 4 Canadian tall trees. I mean, tall trees.
Yeah.
And I wing it up in the air, send it in the right direction, and then we're just listening, and you just see in the distance, it goes, clang, and we're like, ah! Like, no
Started
fucking-
kicking furniture. Fucking did it. It was the best. It was the
And
best shot.
then a 3-foot tall rabbit winked at me and went off into a hole. The whole night may have never happened, if I'm being completely honest.
Remember those people were drinking in the ice cooler? Like all the people,
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
Canada's not cold enough. They go into the fucking walk-in.
At the bar across the way.
Yeah, it's like Bourbon Street is in the mall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a bunch of fucking
Yeah.
Bars.
The club's in the biggest mall in Canada, now for sure. It was the world at one point.
Fucking crazy.
But a 2 mile fucking, it's like 2 square miles or something.
Kilometers
like that.
or whatever the fuck it is there. Hectares, the way the crow flies.
Yeah, 2 sortes.
That was the room when the host Jay didn't even try to get my name right. Remember, he said it 5 wrong ways 5 times. Mm-hmm. He didn't even get it wrong right twice.
Yeah, it was like Mike Finwinkle. I was like, you know, it's not that.
He goes Mike Filanowski. I like changed race and gender every fucking time. He's like Michelle Johnson. I'm like, it's Mike Fenoya, dude. You're not even close. We both called him out on it.
Oh, that was and what was the guy when we were at the radio one time?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And the guy had it written in front of him. He said, but he whiffed both of our names, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, Jay Orker Dork and Mike Fwonk.
He goes, Jay Odenkirk and Mike Tyson. He had it circled, too. He goes, so it's Fenoya? And I go, yeah. He goes, we're live with Mike Fwon.
Mike, the gym right back? Did we give him enough time right back? Mm-hmm. What'd he say?
So I'm pretty sure Jacob and I talked about the gathering, and Jacob mentioned Kill Tony, talking about Jay's last couple of weeks.
Oh. On the production meeting that you were on. We discussed it on that meeting.
Okay.
The last 2 weeks.
Jacob, I apologize.
Yeah.
On your own. Talk about Kill Tony. I will talk about Kill Tony.
I did, and I did take your advice very seriously, and yesterday it was hard to bring it up, but I was like thinking in my head, what's a good way to bring it up to Jay?
Kill Tony?
No, just the garden. I was thinking it would be a cool way, garden first, because you recently went to Slipknot at the garden, and I was going to say...
I had to meet my black son-in-law.
Yeah, I know, but I was going to say, like, how cool is it to go to the garden after performing at the garden? Because it's always neat to go to a room, like perform in a room that you've seen concerts at. It's reverse for you.
It was it was cool. A couple of reasons. One, the security people there were like starting to recognize me, and they were like, dude, that was awesome the other night.
Neat.
Which was really cool. And then was at the Slipknot concert also, so I mean, I'm the belle of the ball.
You're the Pope of Chili Town, dude.
My black son-in-law got to see a lot of people very excited to meet me, which was very neat.
If he saw you at Juggalos, he would have been like, I'm marrying into royalty.
If he saw me at the Juggalos, he would have absolutely thought, he goes, is this guy's probably, like, he probably runs all of this, right? Like, he's there. Are these his followers? They'll build him whatever he wants them to build.
You're the prince of the unemployment line?
I bet if I hired a bunch of, like, Juggalo fans to build me a house, dude, it would be built in 4 days. Just they're all methed up. Just
Oh, absolutely.
It gets built like a cartoon.
Yeah, and then it burns down in a month because nothing's to code.
Oh, dude, just fucking running 8 different directions with Tyvek wrap. Just wrapping it.
You have a gorgeous, like one of those rainfall shower heads, but it just rains Faygo on you. You just somehow get stickier.
It only rains Faygo. Look at me. I'm right back to the gathering of Juggalos and not Kill Tony.
Okay, so let's circle back here.
Sorry.
To the big circle on 34th, the garden.
The big old circle, the garden.
MSG.
Well, Lewis and multiple other people talked me out of leaving several times because when we went there, first of all, I already did see on the air. It was a fucking incredible experience. But man, I think it's MSG too. It's just they are just not fucking super organized with what they're trying to figure out there. Like nobody was on the list. And then a few people were, and then a few people weren't. I was on the show, and I wasn't on the list, let alone Christine for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just trying to sort, and everyone just kind of very like, yeah, I don't know. Nope. And you're like, yeah, but I think I have to get up there because they told me to be here no later than this time, and I've been here for 25 minutes, like trying to figure out why we can't go in yet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Can we? Well, can you get a hold of like? I'm sure, but they're running around like me. You know what I mean? Like, who do they tell you to talk to if there's somebody? And it's just going on, and it's just to the point where you're like, yo, like I think I'm gonna split. And then they're like, okay, oh, you know what? All right, well, here's a pass for somebody. You take it and go up with whatever. So I go up, and then I'm up there, and then there's just no. I'm like, hey, I'm here to anybody I see, and they're like, okay, and you are, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm going up on this tonight. And I go, is there like dressing rooms or green rooms or holding areas? And they're like, they're just like,
no one knew anything.
Where's Tony? Is Tony? I don't know. Some people are like, Tony. I'm like, the person who this whole thing is. If he's the main guy, he might be in that hall. You know, like no one knows anything. And I'm like, for the love of, hey, can I get some water? Like, there's just nothing. Yeah,
anything.
And I'm just like directionless for over an hour of being there at that point.
Oh my god, dude, that's.
And
crazy.
then I was like, yo, dude, I don't know what's going on. Like, and I'm being asked to like, don't stand there, don't be. It's a lot of them in the way a bunch, you know what I mean? And Lou was like, don't leave, dude. I go, I'm not leaving. But it's just like, you're
where
not
do
thinking,
you
like, what are we
go?
doing? Yeah, I'm like,
Now at this
I don't know
point,
where I'm
had
going.
the show started?
Well, then it did, and then we got up there at the last second, and just because of the nature of everyone being ready to go on stage, like I just saw everybody. But it's like before they're going on stage. For 3 seconds, I was like, "Hey, Tony, so you know I'm here."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I don't know if you know
yeah.
I'm here. I'm like, it's like I saw Red Band. I'm like, hey, I'm just like, it's like, But I mean, I'm not like, of course, it's their big night. I'm just like, dude, this is amazing. I didn't say anything like, what's with the fucking? I hate when people do that.
Oh,
dude.
when they bring you into
Start
their
laying
fucking,
on the thing, and you're like,
yeah.
dude, I'm trying to do this thing. Like, please sort it out with somebody else. I would never.
Yeah.
Tony, here's security here. Blah blah. Can you imagine that right before you go on? Like, so you're in a bad mood, and this is a big thing, and oh shit, that's all that would do.
Yeah, you're tugging on his sleeve. Just a heads up. That happened at when the Jokers and I did we did Rocket Mortgage Field where the Cavs play, and there was a fuck up with tickets where a couple of my friends, Phil from Cleveland, and then a couple of wrestlers were on the list. And for some reason, Sal and I were trying to get a hold of our respective friends that were there, and they're like, security's not letting us down to go on the floor. And Sal heard me say that, and he goes, wait a minute, down on the floor? Where were they seated? And they were up in the 200, like in the nosebleeds, way in the back. And it was just like, he heard that at the wrong time, and it was just a thing.
Yeah,
and I was like,
sticks in the ass.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
shit.
Yeah, and it was just bad. And then the tour manager got like his ass chewed out and stuff, but it was like a thing. And it's like right at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So they're about to go out, and it was fucked up. So I know what you mean. Like, it's when people
Going to
bring
the
that
insane
in.
clown posse and being like, yo, the guys in yellow shirts are being a problem. Like, please don't bother me with this. Like, I'm trying to do
putting on my makeup.
Yeah. Like, this is a sort of a big thing, and like, I can't really be It's like, the air conditioning's not working in my camper or some shit like that. Could you imagine? They're like, what? Okay, man. Like, I don't know. We'll try to figure it
I
out.
said flat water, not Pellegrino. Was there any like backstage like setup? Was there any like, because we've been back for like the Jokers, and there was like the green rooms.
Yeah, no,
had
there
some
was.
stuff.
It was just, there was just no one like the people that were there for production.
Yeah.
So there's just no one there to really be like, there was no like a hospitality person making sure like, okay, you guys, you can go here.
I'm
Here's this,
surprised.
get whatever you want and stuff. But they were filming it. It was such a big ordeal. It was such an amazing fucking night. It was me. Okay. I just heard it and I stopped.
Amazing night.
It was yeah. I mean, right down like the logos and the writing that they had, the screens and stuff. And the way it was done was just, it looked fucking crazy, and the way they
Pyrotechnics
exploded
and
for
shit.
everybody. I was only there for the first night, and I said, that they brought out Tony went out, Red Band, and then they introduced the band. Marcus King's just playing with the band.
Fucking look at that.
Jelly Roll comes out and sings New York, New York. And then Tony comes out, brings up Shane Rogan. And then the first comic they bring up to the stage is Dice. It's like Dice Clay.
Crazy.
So I mean, just that 15-minute run of insanity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if everyone just losing their fucking minds and
Yeah.
stuff. And then when Dice finished, the show kind of just started to get like into like what they do, and it was weird, man. It was like, it's such a big place for sure, but the fans know the show so well, which must be such like a goosebumpy thing for Tony.
Oh my god.
That like
yeah.
they just like, they know, for one, that he's anointed these people who are like having a stadium of people cheer for them a few years in the comedy is unreal. That must
Unreal.
feel fucking amazing.
Yeah. It's like Roman Coliseum open mic.
And know, yeah, yeah.
know what I mean?
And then knowing their things again, like seeing young, like the regulars I'm talking about, they have there that have
Sure.
like kind of built their stuff through that path.
Yeah.
Like the way the crowds know them must be such a fucking, talk about a space that puts you in a good space to like comfortably write, if you, that's what you choose to do, hopefully, and get better and better and better, because you've already got people like that much people rooting for you already is so.
It's insane, dude.
It's not that the pressure's off. Pressure's still on for sure. It's pretty high pressure in some way, but it's a very different than like, you don't have to already figure out like what's going to be my thing that makes me capture an audience still. Like you found that way early. It's
Right.
pretty great.
Yeah, that, and also like the pressure's on, but it's also, if anybody's like, oh dude, you like got it too fast, and whatever. You just go like, it was a fucking open mic show. Like, I didn't get an hour quick. I didn't get it whatever. Like, you did an open mic show.
No, you did a show that you're supposed to do when you're a new comic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's not their fault.
And I was doing New York Comedy Club all weekend, and Cam
Patterson
was on some of the lineups, and like immediately sold out. Like, the rooms were like,
yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
packed.
There is a pressure to that because, like, you know, in a spot like that, it's not. That's fine.
Right.
When it comes to like headlining stuff, like that could be high pressure because
Of
like
course.
people who don't know you outside of Kill Tony minutes, you know, what I mean, the back and forth in there, like, don't know what the hour.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, it's a different beast kind of. So there is pressure in that. But I mean, they come in like love. It's like their game to lose, which is great.
it's incredible.
Like if you go up, that's what I'm saying. It's not like let me win this big crowd from scratch.
Right.
They're already stoked on you. You just kind of have to like it's like I said, it's your game to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine that? Like your Laugh House open mics sounded like incredible to me. That sounds Kill Tony to me from how I started.
It was Kill Tony with no like national audience.
Right, but a local Kill Tony. You basically had like you guys were doing like the Kill Tony of the block.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. Yeah, I mean, not nowhere near. Like I said, it was just essentially
Well, yeah,
an open. It was
yeah,
just a
pre-internet
show.
and fucking-
I would
yeah.
say it was also just a show, like a line of show. But it was like an Apollo, Def Jam, height of like that stuff being like big still in
Yeah.
Comic View, BET's Comic View. So there was so many people, and people were like into it. So it was packed every week, like I said. And there was that, and they were there. Like if you sucked, they were gonna boo you and talk shit and yell things out and stuff. And then because the idea was then the host goes back up there, Touré, who was just on the show not long ago. Touré goes back on stage and just starts shitting on the person. He was good, you know, like just making fun of the guy who was being shitty to the comic.
Yep.
Or the girl or whatever it was. And then that would calm them down. And the show moved. It was like,
But see, that's so cool because like how many people
who
start
knew open mic was just you and a bunch of guys who looked just like you standing in a room performing to each other and
That's the
two
thing.
French people who were staying at the hotel.
It's so apathetic. So much of it is just like, who cares? Like, go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. That's where mine was at, like at Delmonico's Italian restaurant. Like, it was just nobody cared.
Of course.
You know, that was what Joker's Wild once was an Italian restaurant, and it was just like lights on. Nobody gave a shit. The comics were there to watch each other, but there was no crowd. Ever was there a crowd?
That club's gone, but that was one of the weirdest run places I've ever seen. I was talking to two young comics there, and I'm like, if you guys want to do 5-minute guest spots each, I'll put you up. I'm just bullshitting with for like a half hour. And I go, hey, I don't know if it's like a two. I go, if you do one guest spot, like, but I'll put them both on to split the time so they can both get on. He goes, we don't do guest spots on the weekends. I was like, no, but I'm like headlining. I'm like, yeah, sure, they can go on. He's like, no, we just don't do that. I'm like, so you actively are like anti your local comedians? It's a weird thing for a club to do. Like, no, we give them no reward for their behavior.
Dude, I told them, you got to have Jay up here. I go, don't pay me. Just pay him. I'll do the weekend free. You guys are going to love him. It's going to be
He never
great.
lets this go. That time he never took money.
Do you
I didn't
remember
know.
the time, Jay? I said, don't pay me. And they still bounced his check.
Yo, they bounced it at the war. And Mike, and it's so funny. This is me and Mike, pretty new friends.
Oh, in months. Probably.
Yeah, like pretty new friends, and liked them very much. And he was like, "Come do this gig." And this is like I needed the money, like badly. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll come do it." The money was like, fine. And I think it was like $1,000. It wasn't crazy. It was $1,000. I'll say, and just the timing was it also that I was like, well, it's like close to Christmas. I need that $1,000.
That's right.
Really bad. And I remember finding out when I was en route to shopping. I think I was going to Toys R Us over by Vincent's. It was still a Toys R Us over there to buy.
You are now flush.
To get Isabella stuff. To get Isabella stuff to, and then they call and they say that I get the message or whatever that the check is bounced or whatever. And I'm like, oh no! And the only person I know to call involved in that place is Mike. I'm like, Mike, can you go? And they're like, oh, sorry about that. And it was just such a time to be like. Mike was like, dude, if you do me this big favor and come up here, and it's like, hey, I got like a nice big comic coming up. Not big, but it's like a city comic that's blah, blah,
And
blah.
it sold out both shows.
And I'm like, it's funny, Mike's probably in a position more to be like, I know this is like a big ask to come for like a measly $1,000. And I'm like, $1,000 is right around, you're like, that's not crazy for me, you know what I mean, to make. It's
For
like
one night? 2 shows?
Was it one or two?
I think it was
Or
one
was it
night.
two
Was it a
nights?
one-nighter?
Yeah. It was 2 shows, I think, one night.
Yeah, perhaps. Because you had to... Yes. So many weird things happened that night. But yes, I think
Maybe
it was
I stayed up there. I think I actually did stay up there. It might have been 2 nights, 1 show a night. Might be what it was. But
regardless, they were both packed to the gills, dude. Like, it was like
they all
full.
knew each other. It was local people. I said that was the first show I ever had that feeling where it was like on stage, people were going, any joke I made, he goes, "That's like you, Jimmy, right?" And then they'd all laugh. And then someone came in and he goes, "Hey, man, when I was on stage, they needed to move my car out of the way."
Dude, Uncle
While I was on
Steve.
stage, they go, "Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, man, but that's your car right there." I'm like,
Dude,
yeah.
middle of the fucking show, he's on stage, and a guy that worked the door there, Uncle Steve, he goes, "I need to get out and go to the Christmas party." He's like, if I don't get out of here right now, like the Christmas is going to be ruined for everyone I know. And I go, "You can't get his keys or on his." I'm looking at his keys on his belt loop, and the guy's going, "I need his keys." And he went to walk up on stage, and I grab him, and I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong?" And he had like an elf sweater and shit. And I'm like, "Get over here." I go, "No, I'll ask him." So I walk over, and I'm like, "Jake, I have your keys, dude. I'm so sorry." And you're like, "Huh?"
Dude, it's so fun. By the way, it's so funny because Mike, the 2 things happening that are wrong is Mike is over stressing out these. Like, I brought this like, big New York comic up here, and he's being treated like shit, and I'm having like no, this is pretty much what it is. Mike's like, "You're probably just coming off your perch to come here and do my little stupid place." I'm like, any gig really that is offering to pay me some money, that's like, will pay a bill, I'm going.
I'm sitting in your car to move it, and I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking
You
idiot.
flew down from the mountain to do the show.
Yeah, like
why-
Jay private jetted here, and you're gonna stiff him on. I got him to do it for $1,000.
Why did they have Jay block this guy's car in the first
It's the
place?
worst parking lot on the
They
planet.
absolutely did
dude.
that.
There's
They absolutely
nowhere
did
to
the-
park. Yes.
We saved a spot for you over here, and then it was in the way of like. By the way, I think it was like the owner wanted to leave.
No,
it was like the
Uncle
owner was just like,
Steve. Uncle Steve. He was like the guy who did the door. Just an older man.
Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve wanted to leave. He like worked the little booth in the window, and he's like, "I need to get to the Christmas party now."
Was it like,
I was like, what do you
his
have, the eggnog,
family
dude?
Christmas party or like a Joker's wild Christmas party?
No, it was like a party of him and his friends.
Bikers?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was something related to them. Yeah.
he was like a Hispanic biker.
Oh, that guy though. No, remember that's the other guy who said he was going to kill you. The only reason why he didn't kill you is because you.
You said I was cool.
And I go, no, man.
Yeah, he goes, he's alive because
We're all supposed to
we're all
be.
supposed to be, man. That was my first dose of Trippy Mike.
A guy wanted to kill Jay, and he goes,
He didn't want to kill. No, that's how he said. He was laughing. He was ball busting. It
He was
just a
basically
weird,
like hazing Jay.
It was like it was nothing that I took like this guy's. It was just like one of those things where you're like, you're doing this because I'm surrounded by you and all the people you know and your friends, and you
Yeah,
feel
we're
very
at your
comfortable
place.
here.
Yeah.
Because he just did the thing. He was like, he goes, "You said that one thing, man." He goes, it was gonna kill you, man. He goes, but "You're alive though. All right, you're alive because this guy says you're okay. So as long as he says you're okay, so it's just a ball, but he's just doing like a lot of like the shoving." And I was like, yeah. And then Mike just goes, "Right, Mike?" And he goes, Mike's like, "Nah, man, he's alive because we're all supposed to be alive, man." And it did diffuse it. Everyone was like, "What?"
That's how you beat the bikers.
Mike just threw
dude, with
glitter.
peace.
Mike just threw glitter up in the air.
I'm like, go, Jay, run. I got glitter in his eyes.
Now's the time.
We smoked a couple bowls in your car, and I went on stage, and that was the night I realized I can't smoke pot and do comedy because I delivered the jokes, they were working, but I was like a fucking slot machine.
Yeah.
I was just going wah, 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 ding, next joke, wah, 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 ding, next joke. I could not fucking, god damn it, like if anyone threw me a curveball, I would have fucking crumbled into a million pieces. And I'm like, how the hell do you do crowd work that stoned? But that's the other side of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm probably better stoned than not stoned
You're
doing
just
crowd work.
always stoned.
He really is. Well, we had a pizza.
That's what it comes down to.
We had a talk over some really good pizza, actually. Remember that?
Abates.
Abates. Yeah.
Yeah.
We sat and had pizza and talked about comedy. And about 2 days later, you called me and you go, "Hey, moving to the East Village. I got a room available if you want to come move in."
That was the beginning of our gay off relationship.
And that's when I told my wife of 1 year, "I'm moving in with a couple you don't know." She had the flu. Dude, she had like 140 fever.
You go, babe, putting down a security deposit on a place. You stay here.
We knew you for a bit before that.
We did, but I mean, like,
No, a
that
couple
was,
years.
what,
You were coming down and
2014?
stuff.
definitely not a couple years.
Say 2 years, no?
It had to be like two.
Well,
2
we met in
years.
Providence. That was the first time we worked together, you, me, and Dave Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said, come down, do Skanks. And I did. And then that was the night, Christine, do you remember, like, a bunch of kids ran into the stand? Remember during Skanks, a bunch of dudes ran
Was
into
it the
the
Jewish
the Jewish
kids?
kids.
Jewish kids.
Yes.
Hasidic Jews. God, they are unpleasant
They,
people.
Oh
like,
my God, that was
crashed.
before Skanks went to the creek.
Yeah, it was like flash mob, like craziness.
That had to be 2012.
No, they came in. It's a bummer. This is why we left
Yeah.
the stand originally.
That's
We
the year I
left
got
the stand
married.
because they ended up not recording our shows when they were supposed to be recording. And one of them that happened was these Hasidic Jewish kids came in and started just yelling shit out while we were doing the podcast. And we were going back and forth with them. Like, we were willing to be like, oh, what's up, guy? You know, it's like, you guys are all here. You don't know the show at all or nothing. And we're just talking. And they're just kind of being like, dickhead, and then like putting their heads down. They're being disruptive for no reason.
Drunk
Also,
kids.
at the time, I'm
Typical
security.
humor.
Yeah, yeah.
They were just they were just young. They were
Yeah.
They were drunk, underage pieces of shit.
Yeah,
basically.
18, 19
Yeah.
maybe. And a bunch of them, and they came in, and they just kept going back and forth. And we're like, hey, guys, like, we're going to do a show here. So it's like, it's fine. We were really doing like that. It's fine, dude. I get it. Go have your fun, man. But just like upstairs or out of here. And they were just kind of like, I was like, fuck you, dude. We're not going anywhere. And I was like, well, we'll make you leave. There's no security there, So I was like,
Christine was security.
and then me
basically.
and me and Lewis just had a bench clearing of fucking Hasidic Jews and got them all out together. And then they were very quickly went from like the thing to be like, whoa, man, whoa, hey.
It ran upstairs. I feel like one of them had like beer in a bag or something. Like somebody brought in booze.
They brought in booze
They
too.
all just like walk. They just
just
walked
came in.
down. Like they
Yeah.
just came down, and so it was like trying to get them out, but then they're going back and forth with the comics, and then Lewis and Jay were just like, all right, let's.
It's like, that's that, guys.
We're gonna get these guys out of here.
Me and Dave Smith sat there and narrated. We go, and they're off.
Yeah,
And Jay
wouldn't
upstairs.
probably wouldn't handle it the same way with black Israelites, but these little Hasidic Jewish fucking
Things were
queefs.
different. Things were
It is
different.
funny. There is something so funny about, especially if you're like a self-reflective person at all, is when you do tell even like a story of like badassness, like going like all the things I see in my head. You're going like, yeah, we took a bunch, like 10 of them, dude, and we fucking like shoved them all out of the place, and they were scared out of their minds. He goes, hey, what would you have done if it was a bunch of like a black local basketball team came in? Would you have handled it that way? He goes, no.
We would ask politely and then just did the podcast
So
somewhere
you tell
else.
he goes, and these pussies were all scared as we were throwing them outside the place. But then inside your mind, you're like, and it's just because that's exactly the outcome I pictured when we started doing it. I wasn't like, hey man, look, one of us is not going home, feeling good tonight, but this is it has to happen. You're much more like, I'll go beat up a bunch of fucking Jewish nerds.
bunch of podcast crashing jerks, dude.
Nothing
Fuck, I'll
was-
kill them.
And the recording, that may have been the night where they didn't record the room. They recorded like it was me and Chris arguing in the office. Is
Oh
what got
god, that's
recorded.
hilarious! How fucking
It
funny
was
is
absolutely
that?
crazy. They're like, oh, we don't have the recording of that. I go, what?
That was insane, and that was, I think, maybe the first podcast I ever did. And I was like,
And it was
dude,
all-
podcasts are awesome.
By the way, on the same episode, Mark DeMeo, who was a comedian and a former police officer, was telling us some fucking crazy shit. We were like, I forget what it was even.
I remember that.
It was just such a. Legion of Skanks was so young that we were like, man, that was a fucking crazy. What a Legion of Skanks episode. We get into a physical altercation.
Yeah.
Mark DeMeo was telling us these nutty stories about this thing. And like, or we were laughing hard because he was saying that he used to actually do competitive, almost like Ralph, like he did competitive dance. Like
Yeah.
dancing was a big deal in his life or something. And you're like, what? And it was just, we were having so much fun. And then the crazy moment happened, and they're like, "Oh, it's just me and Christine bickering in the fucking control room."
Can
'Cause
you
it was-
imagine that now? You imagine that now? Days
I mean, not
with, like,
recording an episode is just like not. It doesn't even make sense. That it could possibly
unfucking believable. I
happen
don't even know how it
nowadays.
doesn't happen.
And
Yeah.
this wasn't even video.
It
This
happened,
was
it
all
happened.
audio.
I know.
It happened in.
That was all audio. That's right.
It happened in
Toronto,
Austin,
right?
No, Austin. Well, it did happen in Toronto. It also happened in Austin. Remember? That's when Bobby was crying after Legion of Skanks the Creek. It didn't get recorded, or it was recorded wrong, or
Did
something.
he actually cry?
Yeah. Yeah. Not Bobby Kelly.
Oh, Bobby.
No,
Okay,
producer we
okay,
had,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, dude, that was crazy. I remember that conversation with Lisa where I was just kind of like, hey, I think it would be really good for my career. I know we just bought this house. I know we're less than a year married. But I got this opportunity. Remember that guy, Jay?
I know this is our honeymoon phase. Remember that fat guy who wears the jorts?
I go, you remember he did that joke with a whistler's mouth? That was our favorite. That joke we cracked up about, her and I together. And I go, he offered, like, I can go move down there and, like, he's going to show me around the city and I can open for him on the road. I'm like, this is kind of like a really big opportunity. She had 103 fever. She had a flu so bad that she was hallucinating. She was like, can you get the dog off the bed?
That was the time you decided to talk to her about it?
He was like, I got to know in 48 hours, Roach, your career's over. Jay was putting pressure on me, dude.
Well, you guys were going to move, and then my roommate was moving out.
Jay's like, yo, buddy, listen, I'm sorry about your wife dying at 30, but, like, I need to know,
What
dude.
do you want from me? What do you think I didn't get to anything? Is everybody all right? Good with that?
I wasn't there. I don't.
It was
You said everything.
amazing. I wasn't there the second night. I heard the second night was fucking amazing. Ari Shaffir killed. Joe DeRosa. Sal went up. It was fucking. Jim went up both nights. Jim Norton. It was fucking great. My night, Lewis got to go on kind of last minute, which was even cooler. He thought he was going to go on Saturday, and then they were like, they want you to go on. So he went on.
great.
He did fucking great.
Oh, that was hilarious. So trying to get upstairs. In that
Tell you how bad that
moment.
security and the situation in the elevators were, dude. We were outside smoking. When you make that decision because they won't let you smoke. Also, no matter what, performing, not rooms, whatever. They're like, no. So I go, there's got to be somewhere where you like the bands and stuff like smoke cigarettes. And they go, no. And like, you have to go all the way down to that employee security stuff again. They go, yeah.
Jesus.
So anytime, like, so it's funny.
I'm actually
half the
surprised
time,
that you stayed now.
Half the time, though, you'd come up and you go, okay, like, I went and smoked a cigarette. You go up there. And then it's just, you feel bad when it's like, Foley and Kevin are like coming, the Are You Garbage guys are like, we're going out for a dart. And you're like, well, I'll stay here with you a little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, because the thing is, like, if you next time you come down, it's this whole process again. One time we were out there and they go, Lewis, they want you to go on next. And we're like, oh, and we go through security and then we get to the elevator. Elevator's just not moving. And they go, I think there's a medical emergency on 8. And like, is there any elevator that gets people places fast? And it's insane.
So crazy.
This is how they want the performers to kind of come in, and it's like
Yep.
it's being worked by a person who's like, what floor, just sitting there, and it was wild.
Radio
I was
City Music Hall is
that's
the same
no
thing.
reflection on Kill Tony. That's the Garden. The Garden is a wacky setup over there, man. But like, what a cool place. My first ever performing there. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like talking about it. Like, yeah, did I go up? Did I change the course of history? Yeah,
Probably.
Sure.
Did the tides turn?
Yeah, Jacob. What is it that you and Jim want to hear so bad?
Was
That I
the
went up
moon-
there
I do
in
have
3
your
minutes
intro.
and changed the course of everything of the night?
Was the super moon even more super?
Are most people thinking it was probably the set of the entire run? I don't know. I've heard rumblings. What is this here?
This is your intro.
Oh my God.
Damn.
You know,
I've never
New
seen
York
this.
has a lot of iconic comedians. A lot of them I consider to be like big brothers to me. This is truly, if you've ever seen them before,
Wow,
you know.
look at the size of that
One
audience.
of all of your favorite comedians, one of their favorite comedians, one of my favorite comedians, one of my great friends. Let's make some noise for multiple-time Kill Tony guest and one of the all-time best in the world working today.
It's a nice
This
intro.
is Big J. Okerson.
It's so cool.
That's
It's
neat,
so
dude.
Cool.
Dang.
Fine ass honey walking me out.
Tits,
Really, you ain't kidding.
popping. Whoa.
They work at the
Damn.
mothership.
Holy cat. Really?
Yeah.
Her name's Heidi, and she is
I can't wait to go there
outlandishly
in November.
gorgeous.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ.
I thought she was, when they were saying who she was, I was like, oh, is she a ring girl? I thought she was like a UFC ring girl. They're like, no, she works at the mothership.
Like, no, she works the fry later on the
was like, what?
in the
Oh,
Mitzi
dude.
room.
It bummed us out
She
so
walk-
much.
She
Lewis.
walks amongst people.
Well, yeah. Lewis won because we were
They
walking.
put her
out-
back in a humidor until the next Kill Tony show.
We were walking out at one point, and she was walking by, and he was like, Heidi, and I was like, oh, he's like tried to talk to her already, and he's whatever, and then she's like looking, and she's looking at him with a real like, who the fuck are you? It's dark, in fairness. He's like, Heidi, and she's like, what? He goes, Louis J. Gomez, and she goes, ah, and then she came over and like hugged him and did the whole thing, and I was like, God damn it, we were all hoping there was no payoff for that at all. And she's like, oh, hi, and I was hoping he was gonna have to do like a, we met that one time, even that would have been a good enough
Yeah,
fail.
yeah.
The fact that she was right when she goes, what? Oh, and then hugged him. I was like, son of a bitch, it paid off. But no, he just knows her from. She's Kill Tony. She works Kill Tony at the mothership.
So, do you have your set? Is that?
Oh, I'm not playing my set. No, I'll punch the TV.
I do have it. It was great.
Well, no, because you don't want to
Jay
watch
killed
it.
it.
But no, I know. I'm sure he's slaughtered. But it's what a weird thing for a young comic to be able to do, like a room that big. It's just fucking mind blowing. The Garden, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Didn't you say there was one dude that like shredded the guitar?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like an open micer that like.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's been doing it for. Young, handsome black gentleman, and he went up there. He had a pretty good set, and then he was just like a regular. He was a real like bucket pull.
Pig,
It wasn't
yeah.
like the people that were supposed to go up. It was just like the luck of the draw. He went up there, he had a good set, very likable guy, and then it's hard to hear where I was standing, like the words. The monitors weren't very good.
Yeah.
They had in-ear stuff, but like they were like, any special skills, I guess. And he was like, I could play guitar, and then I guess they asked him to do it, and Marcus King gave him his guitar, and he fucking just shredded a solo. Do you have that, Christine?
I'm trying to find
That's fucking.
Oh, you could play that. That's
Imagine that, dude, at the Garden.
at the Garden.
You do
He
stand
had
up
a good.
and play.
He's a young comic who has a stand-up set that goes well. The people like him so much, and then they asked Matt, and he goes, I mean, he comes through.
Jesus
for sure.
Christ, dude. Yeah. Well, that's either going two directions. That story either ends with him being a complete success, or he's gonna murder someone.
Yeah, he
You
was
don't
so
go. There's no
talented
way to go
until-
down from. Yeah.
Yeah, too much genius. Do you have it, Christine?
I think I have it. It looks like this is Marcus taking off his guitar.
When we were
Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
when we went to the Jokers, when the Jokers played the Garden.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, watch this.
So he's just had a good set, this guy.
Just had a good
Yeah.
set. And then Marcus.
Jason King grabbing. Wait, that's Marcus King. Wait a second. Are you guys brothers?
They have drinks.
Oh, so the kid's name
the
is
weirdest
Jason King.
episode of White Men Can't Jump I've ever seen.
They was kings.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Have Marcus there. I'd be sweating.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the little
You
guitar
think he
solo
would,
from
right?
Yeah.
Jason King.
This show is. It was.
One,
He's like, it's a blues riff in B. Watch me for the changes and try to keep up.
3, 4.
Jesus. No pick. He's
Nope,
thumbing it.
I know.
This is completely unplanned.
He looks like a young Godfrey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, dude.
I mean, how cool is that?
What a night for that kid.
Just what a night all around. I mean, Tony,
Jesus.
God bless him. And I said, and all congrats to Tony. I mean, it's nothing I haven't said to him in person or thing, but I mean, what the fuck, man? I mean,
He's literally created like a fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched this.
two nights at the Garden. And then people go, well, a lot of people went to both nights. Like, okay.
Big fucking.
Yeah.
I went to 13 nights of fit.
That's what I'm saying.
I just remember watching this show in the belly room at the comedy store.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what are you supposed to be upset about that?
He goes, well, like it's sold out, but it's not like it was like two full sets of 20,000 people.
Fucking
Going,
suck
huh?
dicks.
Like,
That's stupid.
okay, if this was only one night at the Garden with Kill Tony, you'd be like, that's fucking insane. Dude, Lewis was saying it. He was so right. We were just looking at the thing, and I go, if I could just have one V of this audience, like section
Slice,
from the
just a
top-
piece of. Yeah.
for every weekend I did, I don't need any more than that.
That's it.
One slice of said from like the 200 level down to the floor
Yeah.
of that, like a section.
Yeah.
Like it's like section 202, 102, and the floor
Yes, exactly.
per
Yeah.
weekend. I don't have to do anything more in comedy.
Game changer. Yep.
Nothing more in comedy. That's plenty.
Unbelievable.
Just that he did whatever fucking 15 times that.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. God bless
It's
him.
unbelievable, dude. It's so great.
And he's handling it, dude, because I mean the show was nobody walked out of there like, Like, and I said, and I could say it like even publicly now that I had my doubts on it before I've seen it in an arena, where I was kind of like, this isn't really an arena show. And by the way, it's still in its purest form is going to be in smaller,
Sure,
because of the nature of what it is.
right.
It does but man, when they're like doing the big like celebration of the thing and like let's do it big, like it's worth it.
Well, and the people who like it absolutely love it, and there are so many people that are learning about comedy through Kill Tony. It's amazing.
Because you can't just tour a Kill Tony daily episode. You have to make it grander for the thing. And motherfuck, they did.
And the clips of it are fucking everywhere.
I mean, pyro and cryo and sparks and the
Float
full
tanks.
fucking band and the guest appearances and shit. Float tanks.
Joe Rogan looking like
streamers.
Joe
Human
Rogan looking like
cannonballs.
Cookie Monster jacket and up there fucking.
Ungodly hot ring girls.
Oh my
whatever
God.
The
Oh my
production was unreal.
That
I mean,
was
they did a
production.
phenomenal job with that, but I just love the way because Kill Tony usually is, the bucket pulls and the regulars, but having their regulars, having their legends bucket, intertwining everything together, it works so well. It like kept such an awesome pace for the show.
Someone should be selling ad space on those buckets. You know what I mean? That's like the race car of comedy right there.
Yeah.
Pennzoil fucking Legends bucket.
Well, I like they
Pennzoil
brought-
presents the Legends bucket.
They brought Comedy Store water bottles with them. So
Oh,
on the panel, they all had Comedy Store water, which I thought was like
That's
such
hilarious.
a
funny,
nice touch.
it's funny they do their, there's ads for Kill Tony. Kill Tony's like a YouTube show. You know what I mean?
Sure,
So it's
sure.
like it's an ad show. So at the Garden, both nights he still had to go. He goes, and now he goes, hang on, we'll take a quick moment. This show is sponsored by. Okay. So thank you to our sponsors for all because they're going to add them in later.
Add 'em
But
in
I'm
later.
like, could you? I'd love to hear. I would never tell the numbers of like ad read cost you. What you get when you go. Well, where's this going to be read to? He goes, a show we did at Madison Square Garden. In front of, and by the way, because it doesn't matter who. The Garden hearing it means nothing. The fact that he didn't do it there, it's that people want to see and hear the Garden episode.
Of course, yeah.
Or episodes. So it's like, what do they pay for that advertising? I went to this with Lewis recently. I'm like, what is the money in podcast? Is it really advertising? Yeah, it's all it is.
It really
It's
is.
advertising.
Yeah, that's like the
And
Lexus to
everything.
December to remember is going to buy that. You know what I mean? Like big company,
Yeah.
Carnival Cruise Lines and shit's going to fucking want those.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What a fucking crazy thing to just leave it open. He goes, a quick word from about our sponsor. Okay, well, thank you for our sponsors. And he goes, now, who wants to give me $1 bazillion to say your name between those two sentences?
He's like, at the Garden, people are pissed. He's like, and now a word from BetterHelp. He's like, guys, every time. I actually had a weird experience with therapy, but not with BetterHelp. It was interesting. It was one of those, like, it's like those online telemedicine things. And the therapist, dude, the guy, it's like he didn't realize that I could see behind him. Mm-hmm. Like he had like old Wendy's bags and like he had an empty fish tank that had shirts, like dress shirts, like hanging halfway in them. And he's just sitting there like, and he's yawning, but like holding in yawns, like, the closed face yawn face? Where he's
Oh,
going,
yeah.
like, are your eyes going to explode out of your fucking... He's like,
Was he was, I'm stretching my insides.
but he literally had like clothes in a fish tank and just old Wendy's stuff everywhere. And I was like, Jesus. I think I'm like, how about, do you need help? Like, can I help you out?
Man,
The
when
ground rule: you want to talk to somebody you at least assume has it together more than you.
dude, the lady whose office,
Exactly.
That screams.
the lady whose office I went to. And it was so funny. I stopped going to one therapist that was telemedicine because we just were getting to nowhere. I was like, I told her so many things, and she just kept asking about like my like imminent divorce and stuff, and then wanting to hear about like the road of comedy and laughing. Just like not even like anything on the road like that's getting through. Do you think you're lonely? Do you think just like what did like I would just start goes, yeah, he goes, man, it's weird as audience. Like there was a guy in the front row who said something, whatever. It's like, and then I'm just making her laugh by telling her like stuff. So I stopped doing that. I stopped going to
You did a set.
That's so ridiculous.
essentially
That's
every week
so
I was catching
funny,
up. I was
dude.
like, what's going on with blah blah. The one that before that I went to like 3 sessions with, and I was like, this might end up being good. This one, because I went very quick to, I take showers in the dark. I was going to some of the things that I told the other one that I was making her laugh all the time. I go, I've talking to you for I've known you for a year now. We've talked about early on. I told you I don't look in mirrors and I don't blah blah blah. And she was like, and now I'm just making you laugh every week. It was kind of weird. But the one before that, I was getting to some real stuff, and I got whatever that's worth. It's just in my mind. I'm like, if I got teary, I was like, all right, we're talking about some shit.
Yeah. We're
going here. And then the one, I just remember looking over at her, and I'm going and it's just I feel bad because I think I have so much guilt with my daughter because but I look over and I see her her eyes are almost kind of open, and she's dropping to the side, and then her eyes close, and I think something medically is happening to her.
She's having
she's having a stroke or something. She's passing out, and something. I thought her face was almost drooping, and I was I forget her name, but I'm like, Miss, and she goes, and I was like, are you okay? And she was like, oh yeah. She goes, I'm sorry, I didn't get a good night's sleep last night. That is not your fault at all. That is not your fault. I'm like, not my fault. She goes, no, it's not your fault. I'm just I should have rested better last night. I go, I don't think it's my fault. That's a weird first thing to say. It's not your fault. He goes, not my fault. It's not my fault. She goes, no, that stuff about you being sad about your daughter stuff is not. That is not boring as shit, like you probably think. You probably think that I think it's boring as shit.
That's crazy. That is the ultimate thing that I think anyone who would want to go into therapy would. That's their biggest fear. The therapist is going to be bored with what they have to say.
I had to bite
you're
my
not
lip.
entertaining.
And your
enough.
therapist fell asleep.
I had to bite my lip not to laugh when I was walking out. I gave her, and by the way, she didn't say, oh, give me a little less this week or something. She still said it's cash. She needed cash always. I'd give her whatever, the $160 or whatever the fuck it was, or $80. I don't know. Maybe it was less than that, but whatever it was, I'd give it to her cash. And as I'm walking out, she goes, okay. She's like, next week should be same time, right? And I just was biting my lip, going yeah. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah,
I will never, ever
week.
be in this building again.
Yeah.
That was it. I never went to her again.
It's not your
You
fault.
never went to therapy again.
Not your fault.
Yeah, I did.
They're literally Goodwill Hunting you.
Jay, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
I know. Jay, it's not your
That's what I'm
fault.
saying. I'm like, my fault that you fell asleep. I didn't think it was my fault.
Jay,
Don't fuck with me, all right? Don't fuck with
Jay, it's not.
Not you, Sean.
Jay,
Not you, man.
look at me.
What?
It's not your fault. She's like,
That's what you actually lived in real life. There's something about Mary therapy session, but it happened to you.
Yeah, the dad from
Well, you would
Step Brothers.
actually
Yeah,
make a comedy routine
He
out of-
slides back in.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fucking crazy, dude.
It was
God.
that was nuts. And her it's not your fault. I just thought that was the craziest sentence to say. He goes, it's not your fault. He goes, I wasn't blaming myself.
No, it's 100% your fault.
Yeah, this is your fault. I go,
Yeah.
but that's fucking crazy that you let yourself get there.
That's amazing.
By the way, there's a real thing, by the way. If you feel yourself getting, I'm not saying it's crazy to have that happening. I've gotten overwhelmingly exhausted sitting in here before. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Stand up for a few minutes. Do you know what I mean? Or just say it's like, excuse me, before I say I have to go to the bathroom really bad. Go to the bathroom and fucking put some water on your face. Just move for a second and go, we'll get through this next 20 minutes tops. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Like the
yeah.
fact that she was going down, just kind of let her head do the bounce.
And you were in person. This wasn't telehealth.
In person.
That's insane.
So then I went to the telehealth, and then I ended up just doing fucking routines for my fucking thing. She's like, that's good. You should use that on stage.
You're going, where's my thumb?
Yeah.
Virtually got your ear.
I mean, she was just...
Dude,
I turned her into a fan of my comedy for sure, but she was not... We were getting to nothing on stuff.
You're like, oh, you want a coffee?
How's
You're doing
Christine? How's Christine? And I'm like, Christine's doing good. She said this thing to me the other day, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, lady, you can say this, but I'll say this. She's like, oh, is that an actual bit, or are you just like, oh,
She
God.
goes,
Hey, that's crazy.
She goes, does that giggle go towards my deductible?